Well, here we are. It's a little different because it's a Sunday morning, but we're having a special edition of the Cummins Real Estate Show with Michele Cummins and myself, Curtis Pope. Good morning, Michele.
Good morning, Chris. Guess what?
What?
It's not the Cummins Real Estate Show anymore. It is now the Remax Magnolia Show.
The Remax Magnolia Show. Okay, well, you could have warned me about that.
Well, we were going to wait till next week, but, we changed the sign already behind you last week. So
which is funny because the sign fell down yesterday.
Oh, no.
I have to get some more double-sided Velcro, apparently. But it's here.
Do what it takes.
Yeah, it's here, but I was just like, I walked in the control room and went, something's not right. Something looks off. And I'm like, wait a minute. The sign is down. The Velcro's still up. The Velcro held.
We'll definitely have to get some more Canadian-made Velcro.
Maybe that's the problem.
That is, I'm sure of it. So this whole week, I was at Remax Activate. It's our Canadian conference. It was held this year in Vancouver, so in our own Lower Mainland. And we got to stay at the historical Fairmont Hotel in downtown. It was so beautiful. I just love the old historic buildings. It's amazing. And we got, and you will love this, Curtis, Rick Mercer was our keynote speaker. He is so amazing, hey?
Oh, he's so funny. That's awesome that you got to have him as your keynote speaker.
Yeah, what a guy. He has just a great story. He wrote a book after or during COVID, and it's I've never read it, but he was mentioning and talking about it. But he tells his story like only Rick Mercer can. I mean, if you were to put in ChatGPT, talk to me about this or tell me this in the Rick Mercer way, I think it would come out pretty cool because he's got his own way of speaking. He's a pretty great guy.
Well, he's an interesting guy because he's so funny, but he's also so incredibly smart, too.
He is. He is such an inspiration, and his stories where he just said yes to things and opportunities when he was younger, he's like, ignorance is bliss sometimes. Like, in his words, he was like, sometimes what you don't know how hard it's going to be, and you just say yes and do it, it opens up opportunities for you. And so that was really encouraging. It was really, really great. But today's show is not only special because it's on Sunday instead of Saturday, but it's special because we're talking about our top 3 places to invest in 2024. And yes, we are already in the last quarter of the year, and before you know it, it's 2024. It's around the corner. October 1st is tomorrow, and so we're seriously in the last 3 months of 2023. Can't believe how fast it went.
I know. Time flies when you're having fun.
It's true. And one of the best investments you can make is, of course, buying real estate. And, it's just not me saying that. It is true. And not just in a buyer's market, but in a seller's market, too. And not just when interest rates are giving you free money being under 2% and 3%, how we've had it lately, or previous to the rate hikes lately. But when they're higher, too, then, they've been higher. They're higher now than they have been in 20 years. But it's still a good time to buy. I always say when you can buy and you're able to buy and you find the right place to buy, you should buy. Those are my 3, questions to ask yourself when you're thinking about buying or investing. So one of our other keynote speakers, though, I wanted to talk about this week at the conference was my favorite economist ever. It's not the kind that you yawned at. And, you see economists, you go to these things and you yawn and you get heavy eyes. But no, not this man. He is so funny, but he's so smart. And I just kept on waiting for the fruit of the piece of fruit he was going to give you next time. You're always on the edge of your seat waiting for what he's going to say and the graphs he's going to show you next. Funny and smart. Benjamin Tao, chief economist with CIBC. He was amazing. We had the pleasure of having him for the second year in a row at the Remax Activate annual conference. And the fact that things are normalizing, he said, and just a quick couple bullet points before we start getting into our top 3 places to invest. There's a 50-50 chance, he says, of rates going up again, but it's stabilizing. It should stabilize by spring of 2024, and within 12 months thereafter or mid-2025, rates should start coming down again. But to be prepared that they may never go under that 3% again. There's a possibility it may not be in the 2% range again, but that's okay. We will all adapt. So I would like to thank everyone too for donating during our conference. You know, REMAX is partners with Children's Miracle Network, and it was just so inspiring. The group of realtors, they do lots of fundraising, and they give so much to Children's Miracle Network. And our new office, REMAX Magnolia, we are a miracle office. And you might wonder, what's a miracle office? And you see these toppers on our for sale signs that say, this is a miracle home. And what that means is that out of every transaction our realtors do, a portion of that they give to the Children's Miracle Network and your local Children's Miracle Network. So ours goes to the BC Children's Hospital, and it saves so many children's lives, and it helps their quality of life, but it also saves their lives, and it's so important. And with that, I also want to thank everyone who hiked last weekend at our Mission Hospice for our office, and we raised and we got to our goal. So we thank everyone who donated and hiked on behalf of our local Mission Hospice. And so with that, I really want to get into our topic, the top 3 places to invest in Canada for 2024. And our first guest is was here with me in Vancouver at the conference. We have it's our own area in BC, Victoria. So from Victoria, we have here today Mick Tandy of REMAX Generations, right in Victoria. Hello, Mick.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. I'm so excited that you came on and to give our listeners and us advice and your take on why is Victoria, why do you believe it's in our top 3 places in all of Canada to invest for 2024?
You know, that's a great question. A lot of reasons, and I'd say the main one is people. And I mean that in the sense that people are always moving to Victoria. In a slow market, hot market, people are always coming there, whether it's for the weather, which is one of the most mildest climates across Canada, or for work. Being the capital of BC, a lot of your jobs, whether it's in healthcare or government, are all based out of Victoria. And we also remember one of the biggest industries in Victoria has always been tourism. So there's always been reasons for thousands of people to flock to the city. And that's the main reason. And people keep coming.
Well, what is on the horizon then for Victoria as well? Why the future looks so great and the surrounding areas of Victoria, because it's all connected.
Yeah, it is all connected. And it's a really nice thing. Victoria is the kind of the hub of the island, but there's so much to offer. You know, you got places like Souk and Shawnigan and Lake Cowichan and up to Tofino and Comox Valley. So if you're looking for a city hustle bustle, Victoria does that hit for you. But if you're looking for some more privacy and acreage, you can head up island and find that as well. And if you're looking for oceanfront, we're on an island, so it's not hard to find oceanfront. And whether you're talking about pre-development, new construction, resale homes and acreages, it's got the full bag.
A mix of the new and old.
Yeah, the mix of the new and old, and I think that could be on the sign as you enter into Victoria, because it is that kind of old British town, but it's also now flooded with a lot of younger people, younger families, and instead of, tourism being the number one industry, it's now actually been taken over by tech. So you actually now have a new wave of new money, younger money, so people now are investing into, a penthouse or a 2-bedroom condo instead of maybe that house in Oak Bay. So people are still buying houses in Oak Bay, but it's a little bit different than what it used to be historically.
So with these new construction, and we're all throughout Canada low on inventory for housing, what type of bylaw changes or building development changes do you see coming up in the future that they're talking about in order to help affordability?
Yeah, good question. So we've seen a lot of new construction and pre-builds happening in Victoria and just outside in the West Shore communities of Langford, for instance. I've been a part of almost 300 new doors there in the last 8 years. A lot of first-time buyers, a lot of new Canadians, but also people from the mainland or Alberta who are coming to park money, even for now as a short-term rental, but perhaps somewhere where they eventually want to retire, because that is the end goal destination. A few changes that may adjust stuff is with all the rumors and the talks of banning short-term rentals and Airbnb. That's a big market in Victoria, especially downtown in a few, 2-3 block radius. There's an area that's referred to as the transient zone or the hotel zone. And the majority of these units, up to 1,600 units, are for short-term Airbnb only. And there are talks of reducing or limiting or getting rid of the Airbnb rental market, allowing 1,600 units to come to market as full-time rentals. So that's a conversation we're having with clients now of, are we looking for full-time rental, short-time rental, or what's the motivation of the purchase?
Well, that brings me to another question then. If you were from out of town wanting to invest and not live, but like to invest, what type of property would you suggest someone consider that would be the best investment in your opinion?
Whenever it comes down to best, I always ask, what's your motivation? Because sometimes best can be different for different people. But I would say right now, there's still a lot of great new construction and pre-sales happening in Victoria and out into the West Shore. I would highly recommend getting into a 1 or 2 bedroom unit somewhere close to new schools and close to the water. And it's great for current rent, and it's a home you can move into eventually or flip down the road, and you're going to be in good hands.
It's interesting you say a lot of young people are moving there and then you say it's a place that where people want to retire to one day. Who doesn't want to retire on an island?
Well, the old adage, I used to work in tourism as well, and the old adage, they used to call Victoria the city of the newlyweds and the nearly deads. So that kind of still plays in a role. So that it is this beautiful mix of where people have retired, they want to retire, and they're moving to still. So it has this good climate of the culture and the artsy and food and drink and the university. But it's also a calm, quiet place to live. So it's got that attractiveness to it.
That's great. Is there anything else you wanted to share with us about Victoria and the surrounding areas?
Well, the nice thing about Victoria and the areas around it is there's a whole island to explore. So it's not just Victoria. You want to be close to a lake, beautiful lakes. You want mountains, we got that. You want ocean, plenty of it. So you have a lot of options. So instead of having a narrow look sometimes of only maybe Nanaimo or Victoria, I think having an open, broader vision to what's on islands is worth a look and spend some time.
Like the ski mountain.
Yeah, you got Mount Washington. You got a lot of hiking and biking trails. You want to go fishing. It's got everything, so it's quite beautiful. Is
life a little bit slower on the island? Is that true?
You know what? It's slower when you want it to be, but if you want to pick it up a little bit, and hence why I think a lot of younger people are moving to the island, you can live a faster life if you like, but you don't have to, and that's the real sweet spot.
Nice. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
All right, Michelle, with that, I think we should probably take a quick break here. If people want more information about your listings and the services you provide as a realtor, where can they go?
MichelleCummins.ca.
We're back with more right after this.